Hi all, Nicole here with Dear Teacher Instructional Coaching. So in the last episode, we did a curriculum reflection. And so after you've done your curriculum reflection and you maybe have it narrowed down to whatever kind of unit you want to do, or you found a mentor text you want, or you are doing something cross-curricular with science or social studies or math, and you're looking for some supplemental materials now, I'm going to be showing you in this episode and the next two, 3 really awesome websites that you could use either independently or you could use as supplemental materials for your curriculum. They're all definitely worth exploring. And all 3 of them, so today I'm going to show you CommonLit.org. And for all 3 of the ones that I'll show you, they are simple to use. They are another data point that you can look back on, and they are totally free. So simple, free, another data point, awesome. You'll want to be using these different sites if you need some more supplemental materials. So I will show you CommonLit.org. This is CommonLit.org. I am already signed in to my account, so I can go to the library here and browse all content. So you'll see there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can browse, but if I go to browse all content, you can see there's filters over here on the left-hand side where you can do like things that would pair with books, if you have specific units, themes, texts, grade level. This is one of the things that I love about CommonLit is it goes all the way through 12th grade. And I feel like in middle school and especially high school, we have a hard time finding material that is complex enough and appropriate for our grade level students. There's a lot that's out there that's focused on elementary and some in the middle grades, but this 9th through 12th grade, it's a really awesome thing about CommonLit. The other thing you can do is you can sort through like literary devices. So if you do a pre-test and your kids are just terrible at flashback, for example, you could click that and then you can see different texts that would come up. And they have a lot that you can choose from. Different standards if you wanted to focus on very specific things, like if you wanted to look at point of view, reading informational text. Oh, that's because I still have this one selected. We'll get rid of flashback. And see, so you can see 5th grade level informational text, the Lexile, a little bit about it. And so once you click on it, whatever text you want to use, you can see that you can assign the text to your students. If you don't have, one-to-one devices, you can download the PDF file. You can have it read aloud, translator. There's also like highlighting and annotation tools that the students can use. They can change the font size. So that's something really nice for if you needed to adapt that a little bit. And you can also see over on the right-hand side then that there's certain activities. So there's guiding questions. So you'll notice that once they hit these spots, the students will need to respond to those. There's also discussion questions. But when you go to assign the text, you can pick, which class periods you would want to assign it to. You can also assign it to individual students. But then this is where, enable guided reading mode, if you wanted to, for individual students, and you could select those students if you needed to. You could do I typically do all assessment questions for the students. But if you wanted them to just read it and then we'll have a discussion the following day, you could simply do not, or perhaps you only want to do the short answer questions and get rid of the multiple choice. And if you're doing something that's maybe more personalized learning, or you're giving them, a unit set and you need to get this done within this amount of time, you can give them that date range. And then once you end up clicking assign, it will be sent to those class periods. So that's how you'd assign a very specific text. Now notice here, this little plus with the heart, you can add that to your favorites. So if I click that, now I go into library, I can go to my favorites, and that article will be there along with everything else that I have used in the past is all there. So this is where my favorites are. And before, at the very beginning of all this, I was under browse all content. But you can go to themes. So if you were working, fate and free will. Let's say, for example, in science, you were talking about like nature, maybe the man versus nature as like a hook, like how do we think about nature, how we view nature. Justice, freedom, and equality is probably going to be a pretty hot theme this year. Prejudice and discrimination, power and greed. I think about like anything in high school. Lots of high school texts will deal with power and greed, revenge and betrayal, resilience and success. So let's just click on War and Peace. So now they have like these big overarching questions. You can choose the level. So since I teach 7th graders, I'll click this one. And here I've got a whole bunch of texts that I can use. And again, you can be using these themes as, you're like a unit all on its own, or you can just be pulling some of these for supplemental text. If I click on units, you can also see, so 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th, we keep going. I like how they have the distance learning unit and the like timeline that they would give you for about how long it would take. And it's this full overview where everything is totally and completely set up for you. So a site like this, where if you assigned the entire unit, for example, this could easily be something to get your, feet wet when it comes to doing personalized learning. You can simply assign them either as, the entire unit all in one shot, or, every couple of days you're throwing out something new for them. And notice there's also that button again. If you are not able to have students on devices, you can just download everything. And, I'm not a packet person, but it's not about it being on paper. It's about the quality of content and the integrity of the activity that you're doing. Is it a high level of what you're asking them to do, whether it's on paper or whether it's on computer? So those are the different ways that you can browse content. If I go to the library, see, there's a whole bunch of ways that you can access this information. There's also Spanish text, theme, text set, literary device, grade level, genres that you can look at. So there's a whole bunch of different ways that you can look for something very specific that you either want to focus on or that you want to use as supplemental material. This next part I'll show you is when you go to My Classes. So you can go to Assignments. And let's say I want to look at my period 1 assignments. So I have everything wiped out from the past school year already, so I don't have any student data or anything like that in there. But when I'm in period 1, language arts, I would see the list of assignments that were here. I could check on the student performance. So it's cool because you can see across all classes, and then if you needed to break it down, you could break it down. And who are our highest performers? Who needs improvement? Check this out. They've got all of our standards there, and a key down at the bottom. Where are they? I mean, this is just great data points for you to look at and analyze. That's going to help you and assist you. And when you go to manage class, this is where you can either add students, or you can just toss the code out on your learning management system and they access this through that code. And then you would be able to go in and see all of those students. The nice part too with this is, see this take a tour in the right-hand corner over here? It will guide you and will show you all of these various things that I'm showing you as well. But I really like this student performance tab because it breaks things down very nicely. And I really like, okay, who in the highlights, my highest performers, who do I need to push? Who do I maybe need to try to move into advanced? And who do I need to maybe spend a little bit of intervention time with for some improvement, or maybe try to do some reassessment? And you can also print off any of that report as well. When you go to assignments, so you can either assign things from the library or you can add an assignment. And so it says browse our library or choose a text from the list. So if you know exactly what it is, you could do that. And it's the exact same thing where you can pick going to specific students or going to a specific class, whether it's the whole class, if you want to do on one day, or if you want to give them a range as well. So it's cool because you can assign things to individual students and small groups as well. And it will show you the student progress as they are moving along with their assignments. So this is also a great thing if you're doing something personalized learning, like if you went into one of those units and you assign the unit, you could see how far along they were going and if you needed to push them to keep up with pace or not. So it's very simple to set up your classes. If you even just go to manage classes, you can eventually, if you need to, archive the class. You can have co-teachers on here. And then if you needed to just create a new class, that's a very simple thing for you to be able to do. So that is how you use CommonLit.org. That's it for everything that I have so far discovered on CommonLit.org and how I use it. Again, you can be taking their themes and their units and using them on their own, or you could be using them as supplemental material. This is also something great not only for language arts teachers, but it can also be incorporated into other content areas as well. So happy exploring. Dear teacher, you're a rock star.